All right, well, I'd like to welcome Mike Parsons, the chairman of Barchester Healthcare, to the Entrepreneur Winter Forum 2011. Mike, just a very quick question. You came from a background in advertising into healthcare, and I was just wondering how it was that you actually came into this industry.
Oh, I was a dissatisfied customer, put it that way, or dissatisfied consumer. Or perhaps it was my mother who was the dissatisfied consumer, so we decided to create the product that we actually wanted that didn't exist at that moment in time. My mother actually had two relatives, two aunts, who needed long-term care. And we shopped around and we just couldn't find anything that we felt was of the right quality or suitable for them. And so a couple of years later, we created that product.
And obviously that sort of thing takes a lot of vision, and there will be a lot of entrepreneurs who have an idea in their mind at the moment. But how did you go about taking that vision forward in terms of investors and building the relationships and partnerships that you needed?
Well, I found some of the ingredients I was looking for in the States, because I lived in America for 2 years, and I saw some very good assisted living communities for the elderly out there. And so I took some of those components and brought them over here and found a great location. And started from there and really learnt as we went along. And it's probably worth saying I was rejected by the first 13 banks that I talked to. Fortunately, the 14th decided it was not such a crazy idea, and we're still with that bank today.
Fantastic. So echoing on the importance of partnerships in business. Mike, just as a final question, there are a lot of entrepreneurs who seek investment, and they don't know where to go about finding it. So you mentioned banks and being turned away. Have you got any other experiences in terms of investment?
Well, we put together a group of equity investors, and I suppose that was a mix of luck and personal contacts, really. But the nice thing about that group of investors was we came together in 1995, and we've stuck together ever since, which is a real long-term partnership.
And in terms of forming partnerships and networks, how important do you find events like this, like Entrepreneur Country, where you can come and make relationships and meet like-minded individuals?
Yeah, I think it's always useful. I think healthcare in this country has got such a long way to go, or private independent investment in healthcare has got a huge potential future. And, we see that with the NHS reforms which are going through at the moment. More and more reliance is going to be put on to outsourcing from the NHS. And I think there's all sorts of product areas within healthcare where you're both going to find young entrepreneurs, as I was sort of 18, 20 years ago, and hopefully meet other investors and other bankers who see and share that vision.
And one of the things you just touched on very, very briefly there was the importance of looking abroad, looking at other cultures and how other people did it. What in terms of for entrepreneurs who are looking to go global, who are looking at overseas markets, have you got any recommendations on how they best do that?
Well, 4 years ago, we went to the States and really took the Barchester product to America, bought a company out there, an existing company, and then sort of upskilled it with the Barchester way of doing it, and it's been hugely successful. Prior to that, we did look at trying to get into Europe, and we found regulatory barriers, linguistic, legal barriers, and ultimately we found it a lot easier to do business in the States, but that's obviously not the same for everyone.
Fantastic. Can you just give us a very quick taster about what your presentation today will be about?
Well, I said it's from advertising into old age, and I suppose I'm going to say, did advertising turn me into an old man? Did it wear me out? That's actually not what it's about. It's about taking some of the things I learnt in advertising, which was all about talking to the consumer, looking at what the consumer wants, looking at how the consumer feels, and actually turning that into a product. And just as we used to do that in advertising, so I think we've done that in healthcare.
Fantastic. Well, Mike Parsons at the Entrepreneur Country Winter Forum 2011. Thank you very much.